by that band Cola. Next week we're going to have something, or well, in 2 or 3 weeks, we're going to have something off of the same label, Zulu Records, by a band called Perfume Tree, another great, excellent band, and different sounding. Actually, if you read the paper a couple weeks ago, the writer for The Province, Tom Harrison, probably the best music critic in the country, well, that I've ever read, did a really great rundown of the bands. And something I agree with him is the independent bands are the ones that are starting to, well, kick butt in Canada. The major record labels like Warner's and BMG and whatnot just don't seem to be able to promote the local Canadian bands as good as the independents. And if you look at the bigger independents now, like Network Records, there's London Smith Discs in Vancouver, also brand new. They're really kicking the music scene in the rear end. And something they're doing that's real neat, like Network, they've given up on Canada. They promote mainly their acts in Vancouver, and that's it. They go for the rest of the acts, or the rest of the stuff they promote in the States and in Europe and whatnot. And eventually the bands make it into Canada, but sort of taking the by-end route or a round route. And that's something that I can't understand why more Canadian bands don't do. They should just look at what Neil Young and Joni Mitchell had to do to get popular in Canada, to leave the country. For some reason, we have this inferiority complex with people in Canada. And it's not just for musicians either. It's for writers and whatever. If they don't make it outside of Canada, we don't care. We don't want to hear about them, which is sort of a shame. But anyhow, 2 things I want to get in before we get into the videos. And I've just been criticized for talking too long, so I won't talk too long this time. Right, Bill and Fred? Anyhow, anyhow, for all you teens out there, something that I learned about recently is sort of neat. MacArthur Island Youth Center have a Teen Works night every Monday night at 7 to 10 o'clock p.m. every Monday night for teens to meet and listen to music and play Nintendo and shoot pool. I mean, that's something neat. Too many teens wandering around the streets nowadays. Get in there and party or do something neat during this winter months. And it'd be nice if the city built us a neat skateboarding area for our teens. And something else that's pretty neat, CBC Radio seems to be doing a lot musically lately that's sort of unique. They've got one show on called XY Jazz. If you're into jazz stuff, it's pretty decent, on late nights on weekly. And another show called The Beat on weekend afternoons on CBC Radio. The hosts are interesting. Laurie Brown, if you remember, Laurie Brown used to be a DJ on Much Music. Actually, speaking of DJs, I saw J.D. Roberts on NBC the other night. It was sort of neat. John Roberts, actually, he looks like a guy that should be on network TV. He didn't really seem to fit into Much Music. Also on The Beat, you got Terry David Mulligan and Alan Gregg. Of course, everybody knows who Terry David Mulligan is and know what he's done to the music industry in Canada, and for it, another great person. It's strange, the 2 best people, I think, on the music scene that are promoting the music scene, Terry David Mulligan and Tom Harrison, are both from Vancouver. Right on. And actually, the critics here in Canada should actually pay more attention to Tom Harrison. I'm getting sick of reading people like Big John Kay from Kelowna writing about music. The guy seems to ignore the Canadian scene altogether, and not very imaginative, not really entertaining or that great to write. You look at people like Tom Harrison. Tom Harrison digs for the stories he writes about. He looks at the local acts, which isn't the easiest thing to do. It's easy to cover the American and British scene. I mean, you don't have to really do much. But to cover the Canadian scene, it takes a little work. And I'm sorry, Big John Kay and David Lynham, if you don't like the criticism, too bad. But get off the pot and start promoting the local people. And let's get to videos. The Asexuals and Junior Gone Wild. Asexuals out of Montreal, a great Canadian band, a song called The End. And Junior Gone Wild out of Edmonton, a song called Southern Rain. Or actually, no, called Rhythm of the Rain. Sorry. Asexuals from Montreal, Junior Gone Wild. Their latest album's called Pull the Goalie, a great Canadian, sort of country-type music type deal, but actually a lot like Blue Rodeo. A great band. They're, speaking of the Cowboy Junkies, which you saw in the last segment here, we got outside here. This is outside Kamloops in January for all you people in Toronto. Their Junior Gone Wild, Pull the Goalie is produced by Peter Moore, who has produced the Cowboy Junkies. So let's get to it, and let's go outside and party here. Asexuals and Junior Gone Wild on Drawn to the Rhythm.